Hey everyone, welcome to my Pokemon Reborn Let's Play and walkthrough, or walkthrough and guide. This is not a Let's Play. I don't know why I said that. I'm a bit flustered because there's so much information I have to put out at the beginning of this game. As I get into this a little bit more, it's going to get easier and easier, but right now there's just so much information that I have to talk about. My goal for this game is to basically make this as casual as I possibly can. So I'm going to be using specific team members to kind of make the big boss battles as easy as possible. I'm also going to be showing off all the events, how to get them. I'm going to try to make sure that I show them off as soon as I possibly can. Because a lot of these events are timed, so if you miss them, it can make things a little bit more difficult. You might miss them completely, or it might just make it more difficult to complete it later down along the line. Anyways, here's the point where we get to pick our starter. You want to make sure that you save immediately once you get in here. Every starter in this room can have its hidden ability, so it could have the normal Blaze, Overgrow, and Torrent, but it could also have its hidden ability, so you want to save to make sure that you can soft reset in case you don't get it. Soft reset button for Windows hotkey would be F12, unless you've changed it. So the best starter is Chimchar. Let's see if we get Iron Fist or not. Got it. That's pretty good. I'm content with this. So I'm going to save again because there are a couple battles after this that I don't want to lose. I will put a link in the description below to this little comment that I made on the Pokemon Reborn forums, where I basically say why Chimchar is better over Torchic. Anyways, you can lose this battle sometimes. It's a bit RNG-ish, kind of. His Nidoran has the ability Hustle. So, sometimes it hits harder, but sometimes it misses its attacks, and I'm gonna have to soft reset. So I'll be right back in a bit. I'm back, and this should be a win here. Again, his Nidoran has the ability Hustle, so its attack is boosted, but it can miss some attacks. Sometimes it doesn't miss any attacks, though. Make sure you heal up here. If you're speeding up, you might say no to that. And then you would lose the next battle. And this should be pretty easy now. They will always have the same starters. It doesn't matter what starter you pick. It's always going to be a Litten and a Nidoran. A male Nidoran. There we go, level 7, have Ember, and this is where you get the Pokedex, Pokeballs, all that good stuff really quick. Alright, and we got healed up again, so we're gonna talk to this guy. This is starting the longest side quest in this entire game. All by getting scammed for 500 Pokedollars. RIP. Little cutscene here. I'm not going to be reading the dialogue a lot at all. You encounter this lady and her Snubbull. They talk about how the Snubbull is too higher level for her to obey her because there are level limits here. You can actually find out by looking at your trainer card where each of the badges are. If your Pokemon gets too high leveled, you can just lower the level with Common Candy. So now we're gonna go over here. I actually just want to get our first team member first. Talk to this guy, pay him 3 times, he moves, and you go in right here. And it's an Espurr. This is actually an event Pokemon, and you need Pokesnacks for it like you need it for a lot of the earlier game Pokemon. And this could be 50-50. This could have been a Miccino, this could have been an Espurr. I don't know what triggers it, but I know that you can't soft reset for this, and I know that you have to hard reset for it. The only thing I know is that the character you choose and how you spell your name tends to have some sort of effect on it, which is why I chose this character and spelled my name this way. But unfortunately, if you talk to it, you need Pokesnacks. So we're going to go get some. We're gonna have to deal with this lady right here. And she shouldn't take too long. It might be raining sometimes, so if you picked a fire starter, it's going to be a little bit rough. I'm going to show you how to get around that in a second. Just gonna have to deal with this Panpour really quick. One down. And two down. So I got taunt from that, that's nice. So if it's raining, I'm using mods, and I'm not going to use a lot of mods that'll make this game really easy, but these are quality of life mods. If it's raining and you picked a fire starter, you might want to change the weather with a mod. You can also change the time. I'm going to put all the mods that I'm using up on the screen right now, and I'm also going to put a link in the description that'll help you get these mods. The only mods I'm going to be really using is an item finder mod that doesn't work unless you have the item finder item itself, and a mod that lets me use HMs without actually having to teach them, as long as I have the HM and the badge required. This is another event Pokemon, and I'm just going to point out that this is broken. You're supposed to chase the Teddiursa around, but as soon as you scare it away right there, it's just gone. So I'm going to go back here with our Pokesnacks. I'm going to save because this is something I also want to soft reset for. We want to mail with own tempo. Come here, buddy. Are you a male? Alright, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to have to soft reset for this, so I'll talk to you in a bit. Alright, I'm back. I finally got it, actually. The reason you want to mail an own tempo is because when it evolves, the own tempo will turn into the ability Prankster. Meowstic is actually really powerful early game, but it falls off late game, but if you have Prankster, then it's still kind of useful later on. Only kind of. So this is another bit where I'm going to battle all the trainers in an area before I show off all the events, so I'm just going to clear out all the trainers that are around the Grand Hall, and I will probably point out some of the more obscure trainers later on so you don't miss them. But yeah, I'm going to talk to you in a bit. As soon as I clear these out, because there's one event around here that I want to show off. Alright, I'm back. All the Opal Bridge trainers have been cleared out, and we're standing currently at this little event here. They're bullying this Pachirisu, we're gonna battle them, and they should back off after that. This Pachirisu is one of those either or events. You could have found a Pachirisu, you could have found a Zigzagoon. 50-50. Again, it's probably the same thing that it's based on the same thing that the Espurr event is based on. Espurr and Miccino. So this shouldn't be too difficult if you took out all the trainers that are around the Opal Bridge. There you go. And everybody got some experience. Alright. So I'm gonna take this. You can get both Pachirisu and Zigzagoon. You will have a chance to get, but it's much later. So it's easier just to get this now. And I'm gonna click on this rock right here. Just a little note here, this trainer here, she has a very short line of sight, so you might not notice her. You have to either talk to her or stand literally right in front of her. And there is also a scientist class trainer that is over here. Anyways, Zigzagoon is actually better, but I wouldn't soft reset for it. It can learn Headbutt, and if you might have noticed, there's Headbutt trees literally everywhere. And it also has Pickup. So anyways, I'm going to go heal up again, and then we're going to venture onward into the Peridot Ward. So be right back. I'm healed up, so now we're going to make our way to the Peridot Ward. I'm probably not saying that right, but you're actually going to want to go this way first and head over here. And this is a path straight to the Peridot Pokemon Center. So I'm just going to save here, and I'll be right back. I'm going to clear out all the trainers in the lower and upper Peridot wards, and then we will get to all the events that are coming up next after this. So I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm back, guys. I have cleared out all the Peridot trainers, both upper and lower, and it's time to start doing some events. So first you want to talk to these guys, and that will trigger an event down in its house. Once you do that, you can find a Whismur right here. I don't really want to catch it right now. I'll probably catch it later off screen just for completion purposes. Also, there should be a Gulpin right here. in this dumpster. So this is gonna be really, really awkward. Ouch. I'm actually gonna catch this, by the way. It does have slight use in catching Pokemon since it should have Yawn, I believe. At least I hope it does. Please don't eat all my balls. Alright. I'm not gonna actually use it in the playthrough, but it's just nice for completion purposes and catching Pokemon. So I'm gonna have to heal up. I'll be right back, actually. Right, healing up did not take too long at all. And I'm going to go up here. If you battled this trainer earlier, you can talk to her and she will give you a Rose Incense. It's really needed to collect another Pokemon later, and it's actually a decent item. I don't know if you'll notice this, but I actually changed the weather. And what I changed the weather to was Storm, just a normal Storm. And this is in order to get a Pokemon, an event Pokemon down here. If you came by here earlier, there should have been a trainer blocking the way. You battled him, you beat him, he moved. This girl right here would also challenge you. And then you can come down here, and if you talk, I'm just gonna say right here, I don't actually want this, but if you talk to this, you'll see that there's a Tynamo right there. So I'll be right back. I'm just gonna catch this quick for completion purposes again. You don't have to. There we go, we got it. Didn't take that long. You can use it if you want. I'm not going to use it, but that's where you get it. Also down here in this house, there's a little event here with this Kricketot. Basically, the Kricketot needs to get out more often. She'll ask you if you will keep the Kricketot for her, and you say yes. I'm not going to use it again because Kricketot, like, really sucks. Also, note to mention, there is a trainer down here, and there's also a Pansear right here if you come in during the rain. Not going to catch the Pansear, but just mentioning it. This guy is actually pretty weak, but hey, experience and money is experience and money. So we're going to come back over here, and it's time to start doing some other events. So first, you should want to go inside this house, talk to this guy. He'll give you the old rod. Then if we go up a little bit over here, there's this guy. And if you battle him, he should move out of the way. He's not that difficult, especially if you have a fire starter. But if you already went through all the trainers outside anyways, then again, he's really easy. Wow, that should have KO'd, I'm pretty sure. That's unfortunate. So again, he moves out of the way and lets you into his garden. You can find a Pineco in this tree if you can shake it. And you can find certain bug Pokemon like Caterpie. You can find the grass Pokemon Cherubi, and you can find Wurmple here as well. I actually want to find a Caterpie with Runaway, I believe it is. So I'm going to be right back as soon as I find it. I'm back. I actually finally got the Caterpie. Didn't take that long. This is something I highly recommend though. This is something I wouldn't consider as optional. I'm not going to waste any experience on evolving this Caterpie right now. But eventually you want to do so. You want to evolve it into a Butterfree. It'll get the ability Compound Eyes, and that just makes finding items from wild Pokemon that much easier. And the best thing is, as soon as you evolve it, you can keep it weak. You don't have to train it up at all, because its ability will still take effect even if it's fainted, as long as it's in the first slot of the party. So in here, you probably knows where I went. You have to have Gold Rod, I believe, and you can battle this guy, and like the guy with the garden, he'll just move around, move out of the way, and you can come back here and fish. Also has the Sea Incense right here. So we're gonna leave here. There's still so many events that I have to cover, and I'm kind of losing my voice at this point. I didn't realize how much there was. So in this house, there is a guy right here. He will trade you a Muna for a bee barrel, if you can get one. So that's pretty neat. Now we're going to come back down. Over here, there's some obscure trainers actually. This guy, and there's a couple of guys back here, and you'll also find a heart scale. I left that for myself to collect later. So So moving on, during a thunderstorm, hang on, I'm gonna save right here. Gotta make sure. During a thunderstorm, you can actually find a Surskit on the water surface. And of course, it's going to freaking attack me. I don't really want this thing either, but I'm just gonna catch it for completion again, I guess. It shouldn't be that difficult. You can catch this later on. It takes a while, but again, it has to be raining in order for you to find this. Oh, you can go to the PC, I don't care. Oh boy. Alright, so there is actually a big event coming up here, but let's do this first. So this is the guy who stole from you earlier. And he's gonna scam you again. And then he's gonna double battle you. Them and they'll say, oh, by the way, the Pokemon was stolen off of us. Rip, you're not gonna get it. So anyways, I'm gonna change the weather right here. Just kind of counterproductive because there's another Pokemon that needs rain, but it's whatever. I'm gonna change it to sunny, normal. And it'll clear up. And then you can get this Budew. Assuming you have the Rose Incense. You need the Rose Incense. No, I don't want to nickname it, but I do want to keep it in my party. So get out of here, Gulpin. If you open up and look at this Budew is a class of baby Pokemon. Baby Pokemon in this game are guaranteed 3 perfect IVs, 31 IVs. So if you can see, mine has special attack, and speed. Really good, honestly. So now I'm just gonna save, and I'll be right back. I need to go heal up. I'm back, so now I'm gonna grab this item here. It's a calcium, it's on that little rock or rubble over there. And we're going to go in here and talk to this lady and trigger an event here. Now that we've talked to her, we need to go here. And that triggers another part of that event. We wanna go back to her. And we're gonna help her out here. These guys are trying to steal her Igglybuff. They've already stolen one of them, apparently. And they're just trying to steal another one. It's a pretty easy battle, honestly. Gonna take a little bit of damage, but it's not that big of a deal. There we go. And everybody levels up. And she tells you that you can take her Igglybuff. This isn't permanent, but you're gonna give it back to her eventually. And I want this thing to go to the PC. I highly recommend you don't use this Igglybuff. Like the Budew, it's gonna have 3 perfect 31 IVs, so it's gonna be really tempting to use it. But eventually, in a really, really long time later into this game, you're gonna give that Igglybuff back to her and she will give you something in return for it. So I highly recommend that you keep it in the PC. You cannot substitute anything for that Igglybuff at all. You can't breed another for her later on. She only wants her own Igglybuff back. So it's just better to keep it in your PC. So going down along this way, there's another event right here. Or, that's weird. Okay, it should have been there. There should be a common candy in here. I'll come back to that later. And then if it's clear, or even if it's windy, there should be this guy out here. He is the Pokesnack salesman. I think I said snail. So that's what he sells them for. And there should also be a house over here. If you come in here, get a protein. I might use that, it's really tempting. And then that should be everything. You might want to keep this house in mind for later when you get 1 gym badge. But that should be most everything. Hang on. I needed to double check something actually, but for this event it actually needs to be night. So I'm gonna have to change this. I think this is good enough actually. So it needs to be night for this event outside this little apartment here. Is that not enough? Alright, let me see something. That's... Alright. That's a bit weird, because normally this room should be completely black and you're gonna have to wander over here. But this is another 50-50 event. This could either be a Joltik or it could be a Grubbin. Not sure what determines it, but I'm just gonna catch this thing. It shouldn't be that difficult. Again, catching it for completion, even though you can get it a little bit later on. And I don't care if it makes my Espurr faint. I should have one Pokeball left at this point. So here we go. And after this, we only have one more event to manage. And if you'll notice, it should have been set to rain. I'm gonna set it to rain again. I want it to be a storm, actually. Hopefully this doesn't clear up when I go to heal. I'm gonna go to heal, and then we're going to head over towards the Peridot gym. Again, I could cut this out, but it's kind of inconsequential. And if you look here, there is a Blitzle. Again, I'm not gonna capture this thing. You should be able to find it later on. But if you want it really early, you want this to be a part of your team, go ahead, get it. So that should be everything. That should be most of the event Pokemon within up to this point of time. Well, I'm not going to go back over here. And this is where the story continues. So I'm just gonna save here, and I will get back to this walkthrough a little bit later. But hopefully I went over everything that was important to this game at this current time. So I will catch you guys later. I hope this helps.